see a big report around last year, uncharacteristically bad year for Chillicothe football. It does take a genius to know that. What are the steps you guys have taken this offseason to getting back to where Chillicothe
Well,
football
I
should
think
be?
that obviously 1-9 is not where you want to be. I felt like we started the weight program there in December. I thought we changed the way we were doing things, the way we approached things. The attendance in our weight room, not only from our kids but our coaches, was so much better this off season. The attitude and the way we were doing things, I think, trying to build some of that confidence back up. That obviously you're going to lose when you're in that situation. Last year was a combination of a really tough schedule along with a lot of injuries that we had, and and those aren't excuses. Our schedule is going to be good this year, and it's where it should be. But we've got to get up to that level instead of making excuses of, hey, we got a tough schedule. We've got to play with these people. We got to get our program to where those people are at.
The FAC overall, super tough conference last year. 5 teams made the playoffs. What are your guys' perspectives on how the conference has changed this year, and who's going to compete, who's not?
I think what you see, as each year is that team that has those seniors that can step up and lead them. Obviously, once you get your program to where you want it, you have those seniors roll over every year. But I think if you look right now, I think Miami Trace has a really nice group of seniors coming in, and with a senior quarterback, and Jackson's got the tradition they've had, and got a good running back, and obviously the quarterback's going to be a junior, but they've got some seniors up front and stuff like that, and defensively. So those two programs are very solid, and then you look at the rest of us, and I feel like we have a really nice senior class. I'm hoping that they're going to be able to step up and give us the leadership that we need to be successful to compete in the league.
Injuries were sort of a problem last year. You mentioned the strength and conditioning. What other measures have you guys taken to just make sure that you guys are going to be able to play all 10 games?
I think that obviously, I think it comes down to that off-season workouts, and then some mental thing. We've raised the level of intensity in practice and what we're doing and how we're doing it to try to get into the mindset of kids that you have to be tougher, you have to push through it, and I think and it's not going to happen overnight. It's a process. I was in this situation when I went from Oak Hill to Westfall years ago, and you have a couple years where you have to establish how things are going to be done and the way they're going to be done, and then the kids buy into that, and I think we're headed the right direction. I think you'll see a whole different product that we're going to put on the field this year. Now, record-wise, I don't know where that's going to be, but I know that the way we're practicing, the way we prepared, and the way that we're doing things right now, we'll compete differently than we did last year.
What's the biggest difference from last year to this year in terms of that preparation?
I think for this year, a lot of it's the fact that the senior class. I think we have 19 seniors, and not all of them will be starters, obviously, but we have a nice group of kids, and a lot of those kids are big bodies that they're going to help with the defensive and offensive lines, and I think that's where you start anywhere when you're going to try to rebuild and do things. And I think we have some kids that can hold their own up there, and it's going to be able to allow us to compete better than we did.
You guys were one of the teams that moved regions last year, or this year, I should say. Went with Miami Trace to Region 12 out in Division 3. It couldn't be coach speak. It could be, we're going to go play anyone that we want. But what are your guys' perspectives on the move in general? Just the landscape of how high school football is changing in the state.
And I think that it's funny because in different regions have different caliber teams and different types of teams. Some, you can go from one region to another, and it's a power region, or it's a spread region. And obviously each region has a little bit of both. But you look at the region we're in right now, and you get a lot of the Southwest, teams, and so it's going to be different for us. It's different, but at the same time, five teams on our schedule are in our region. So we got Wilmington, Miami Trace, London, they're not only are they on our schedule, but they're a big part of the region and some of the top better teams. I mean, obviously you're going to add like Bell Fountain in there with the quarterback they have and those type of things. But that's just all part of it. And then I think when you go back and forth, it makes it tough. I know, like I mentioned again, we were at Westfall some years. We were in the Eastern. One time we played in Bel Air, and the next time we're playing down towards Cincinnati. Because we were right on that line of. We needed a Division V school. Which way are you going to kick us? And right now we're that Division III school. Which way are you going to kick us? And so the last couple of years we've been in the East. This year we're going to be in the Southwest.
What kind of impact as far as travel do you think that'll have on your players? Just getting them mentally prepared for a little bit longer bus rides in some cases.
I think that's the excitement and the enthusiasm that you get when you get to the playoffs, or at least you hope you have. That's. It's something that the kids don't really bother to think about. Plus, this year I think we go to Western Brown, which is going to be, an hour and 20 minutes. We just went last week to Cold Grove for our scrimmage, which was an hour and 20 minutes. So, some of that you get seasoned a little bit with the way you do the regular season. I know we're going to go to Wilmington, which is all 35, but it's going to take us an hour or so to get to Wilmington this year, and we go to Portsmouth West, which is going to be probably somewhere close to an hour. So you get a little bit of that in the regular season when you got your non-league games and some of your league games.
Are there any games this year in particular that you have circled right now that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we circled game one, and the only reason we circled, we want to get things going back the right direction, and it does. And I don't mean that as saying that we need to go out and win to make sure we're going the right direction. I felt last year we struggled competing, and I want our kids to compete. I want them to play hard. I want them to fight and be in every minute of the game. And so we have Bloom Carroll coming in, and then we go right from Bloom Carroll to London, and both teams were 10-0 or not. Bloom Carroll was maybe 9-1 or 8-2 last year, but London was 10-0. So they're good programs and really, where we want to be, and we've got to compete with these people. And so I think we just had game one circled just for that reason. It's just a matter of let's set the tone of who we are and how we're going to play and the way we're going to approach things.
Question for players here. You guys won 1-9 last year, so when you have a season like that, next season you've got to have a total change in culture, changing the way you do things. How would you say as players things have changed for you guys day to day?
I'd say probably the leadership. I'd say just from the seniors.
Yeah, a lot of the leadership changed with we found out that we need to change the leadership in order to be a good team. So all the seniors have done that.
How would you say the leadership has changed?
Well, coaching the younger class and coaching up other people around us to get everybody on the same page of what we all need.
And then I want to add in there too. I know you're asking them, but probably the level of commitment that this group of seniors has done. When we started the off season, we started in December when we were allowed to start, and I would say probably 90% attendance rate from our senior class, and that includes the kids that are in other sports. They come in before school and get their lifting in, and I think they set that kind of example. Sometimes some kids aren't vocal leaders. Some kids are just, here's what you do, here's how you do it leaders, and I think this group has done that. Our attendance in the weight room in the off-season conditioning program has been just way above where it was at the year before.
Yeah, all off-season to prepare for week one game. You alluded to it a little bit. Bloom Carroll, that could potentially be the letdown spot for them with how much they lost and come down to Chillicothe. You guys are going to be fired up, obviously, for that game. What is the main thing that you've kept in mind throughout the offseason preparing for that game? Because week one's a lot different than every other week where you have months to.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Bloom Carroll's not going to overlook, because this freshman class, my son and I and the coaches that are there, we were all there. I was at Bloom. I know most of the kids that are in that freshman class, and the other underclassmen were all in junior high when I was there. And so I know a lot of them. I know a lot of their parents. So I'm sure that they're not overlooking us by any stretch. Their coaching staff does a great job, and they're great guys, and I'm sure they're preparing their team well. And but it's one of those games that, like I said before, we need to set a tone of who we're going to be, and And hopefully we can do that. I mean, I know they're been awful good in the last couple of years, but you know, we need to be where they're at, and that's what our goal. That's one of the things we talked about all year. You know, people can say, "Hey, you have a tough schedule. Hey, you have a tough schedule." Everybody on our schedule are people we should be playing, people we should be competing with, and some of the programs are where we want to be, and that's what we're working for.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.